Okay, hi. I found this about the Basque bloodlines, and what I have determined is the Basque people are supposedly descendants from Jesus and Mary, but more weirdly, it looks like some of the DNA looks like they only have one parent. It's a Y chromosome. So in my father's book, it says they're only men. They're slow men. They're only men in the region. Cretans, cannibals, men. Keep saying they're men. And I remember this song from a long time ago, A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. Why? Why would they persecute a race of people supposedly descended from Christ? Well, there's a scientific reason why. So one of the things that they're doing, like in that Mary Douglas document, is they are claiming that the people that they're excluding from society are diseased or witches. So I know this because I was hanging out with somebody who claimed to used to work for the FBI. I don't know if he now is just a subcontractor or works for the CIA. I don't know. And he kept wanting to do some kind of movies about witches. So they want you to be a witch and they want you to have a disease. One of the first books my mother gave me was The Velveteen Rabbit. Okay, what happens in that book? There's a little bunny, and the bunny has scarlet fever. The boy gets scarlet fever, and then they say the bunny was exposed to scarlet fever. So, the bunny had all of his fur loved off. Right? Okay, body parts missing, etc., etc. Q fever in the Basque Country. All right, so this is the first I heard about this. But then when you go to chromosomal reasons for why they would do this. Okay, so when you go Y chromosome in Basque women, it says, when exploring the Y chromosome, we found that it did not come from the Paleolithic, but was a new variant from the Neolithic. So the women are older than supposedly the Neolithic, and they're claiming that some of these women, they're calling them they had uni-parents. Uniparental lineage. Uni meaning one parent. A virgin birth, right? So when you look this up, it is very hard to find a study of women, the Y chromosome, beyond gender. So the Y chromosome, it looks like in the Basque, on the Y chromosome, the Celtic population turned out to be statistically indistinguishable from the Basque. But when I tried to keep looking up women, the chromosomes, it just kept coming up with men. So I think that the women might have both chromosomes. That is just what I'm thinking, and I know it sounds weird, but it's going to be something that's very odd. And when you look up the virgin birth, I mean, there's all kinds of scandalous things they say about the woman, but maybe she, because of the persecution of the people of that time, they just started producing children spontaneously. Now, I don't know if that's if that makes sense. If you look at Virgin Mary birth, and then she's in Basque, right? They're saying that a mother can't give birth spontaneously to a male. But they have this marker RM153, and we see 153 in the news all the time. So let's look, look at Geometria 153. Let's see what we come up with. That's not it. Hang on. Prove humanity. Prove humanity. Kona process. Flag for review. Maybe that's not it. Hang on. I'm spelling it wrong. Sorry about that. Okay. Geometry. Alright, 153, calculate. Diaz Denise Boat. Then the I am, that I am, agent. October, shoe. Begins. So it begins. Recep. Nergal. Ophelia. Shambhala. McDonald. Oh no. McDonald. Gitmo. Delight. Cedo. Drip. CPS. Child Protective Services. Fear God. Sieg Heil. I'm not sure what that means. Gematia. Garland. Judy Garland. Capri. The Life. Mahabone. Fear God. Labor. Katana. Sheffield. Bota. Sock. Casio. Beaton. Hellfire. I can't. Creep. Hatfield and the McCoys. This I am. Dark Agenda. TH and Ink Nod. I do believe they're selling children and then using the proceeds. A lamb is using the proceeds from this bloodline to pay for books. And the reason I say that is one of my last names supposedly was Penland. Okay, so let's go back. I wanted to look at this one. Genealogical DNA. The mtDNA test can be taken by both males and females because everyone inherits their mtDNA from their mother. But there is something else. When I started reading about this, it looks like the Basque might also have another, like sex chromosome. And I can't find if they have another organ, but there is something about the Virgin Mary bloodline. But I still don't understand why they would be persecuted if they were actual descendants of the Virgin Mary, and this was a spontaneous birth. it was a virgin birth, and so that meant Mary had to have scientifically both chromosomes, because she couldn't, if she only had the X's, she couldn't have given birth to Jesus if Jesus was male. I believe Jesus looks male. I believe, I've never heard a rumor that he wasn't male. I believe she was female, Mary. Let's see what the translation of the meaning is. But she wouldn't be able to give birth to a male. She would have had to either have a sperm or have both chromosomes. And that is, they said there's something very controversial about the Basque when I was reading about sex. So these are Virginia Geotza, meaning of virgin birth. And there's some more words. Whitworth. William Whitworth. Irrenderable. You can sound these out if you want, but I'm more interested in the scientific possibility that Mary had both chromosomes. And it's just when I started looking into the Basque, they're saying they're either diseased or not. They're saying they have scarlet fever, Q fever, created the Spanish flu. They're saying a lot of things. And I found this thing on the Black Death, and they're saying again in the situation of the Black Death, where they found the body of the Black Death, and we got Our Lady Begonia, meaning Little Mother. I really want to find the one that I found before. Virgin Mary birth, both chromosomes. The miracle birth, X for female and Y for male, and that takes me back to that song, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. And sometimes Y. I think in humans, a virgin birth would mean that a woman's eggs develop successfully without sperm. This presents a sex chromosome problem, but when you start to look in, and this is very well hidden on the internet, so I have looked, and these books that I've purchased about the cod, when you look up cod, it says human, cod that saved the world. They have different anatomical structures. They have something different about their body. So scientifically plausible, the virgin birth. I've always found the virgin birth of Jesus, peace be on him, to be a fascinating topic. Basic human biology dictates that every healthy human's genome is made of 46 in every cell. 22 identical pairs, 44. We see these numbers all the time in the news, you guys, and you just have to know what they're telegraphing, okay? 2 gender-specific, XX and XY. A female body develops from the 46 XX and the male from the 46 XY, complicating the matter of the virgin birth. How did Mary, peace be upon her, a woman with an XX genotype, give birth to Jesus with an XY genotype? Now, you can read through this, but what I've read is that all of the people they're studying have the Y. And they're not just studying males. They're studying males and females. So this is probably why they have the gender stuff going on. And they're saying that gender doesn't really matter. She must have been a virgin. She was still capable of bearing children. She must have had the ability to produce both male and female. Okay, so what I found after I finished that was this, okay. X-linked gender sex reversal. Patients that have X-linked gender reversal are genetically 46, XY male, but present with a female phenotype appearance. Multiple genes orchestrate sexual differentiation, and under certain conditions, human females with 46 XY chromosomes were fertile and gave birth to children. So there you go. There is what they're doing. And this is found in the Basque population, according to my father's book. A chimera is a single organism composed of cells from two or more fertilized eggs, known as zygotes, occurring when sperms fertilize their congruent number of eggs and join following fertilization to form a single organism. Thus, two or more distinct cell lines of different genetic makeup create a single organism. In this case, fraternal twins would become endogenous twins, meaning that one twin would have become incorporated into the second twin's body, forming a subpopulation of his or her cells. Klinefelter syndrome. Klein is a word for small in German. I don't know what Felter is. Occurs in males typically when there are one or more additional X chromosomes, causing genotypes such as 47 XXY or 48 XXXY. Externally, the person is male. However, genetically, the person has multiple number of female X chromosome. On occasion, non-Klinefelter, 47 or 48, can occur where a patient with multiple X chromosomes and a single Y chromosome will be female due to either abnormal X, single or multiple, or Y chromosome. Okay, so that would be rare. So when you start to take this and look into the hypotheses, the current hypotheses of the virgin birth, according to Dr. Kemal Irmak, a professor in histology and embryology, relies on human chimerism, 46XY and 46XX, as the main mechanism to produce a true hermaphrodite, okay, who would then be capable of a virgin birth. Okay, now I'm not saying I was born a hermaphrodite. I don't know, but I do know that when I went in to be examined, that they wanted students to come in and look at me because my anatomy was different. Now, I don't know why it's different, because it's not, I never had a, to me, I was a female, and I didn't know. But this stuff might be going on the inside, like something the doctors might know if they look in, but you can't see it. As we know, chimerism dictates the fertilization of two eggs by two different sperm, thus creating a male and female fetus. The fusion of both fertilized eggs occur during the early phase of embryonic development, known as blastulation, would enable the female fetus to engulf the male fetus within itself, resulting in the creation of a single fetus with male and female cell lines. Now, this, it reminds me of the Elvis story where there were twins. And so these stories come out into the media in some way, but we just don't know how to apply it scientifically. I didn't know. The dominating genetic cell line expresses as the phenotype, in this case female. So they have both female and male cell lines. The individuals 46 and 46 XX and 46 XY cells would correspond to their male and female reproductive organs on opposite sides of the abdomen. Opposite sides. Right. The mother would be a true hermaphrodite with internal ovaries, testes, and possibly ovotestes. Internal ovaries, testes. I don't know if they're saying these are inside. In all other aspects, she would be physiologically and anatomically female, allowing her to bear children through the normal process. So maybe this is more why they are selling these children But this is something I didn't know about myself. If this is true, I'm not saying this is true. I know that I'm genetically different. Otherwise, they wouldn't do this, and it's got to be worth money to science. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Why would they do it if you were worthless? I mean, they try to make you feel valueless because they're evil. They're evil. They're not. This is not, a godly thing. What they did to me. It's against God. It's against God. And if your interpretation of the Bible is that Bible wasn't filtered through man, I still think that the word of the Bible, there's also God and there's Jesus that don't have anything to do with what's written in the Bible. And I'm not saying that the Bible, it's just the Bible is a tool for certain things. I think the Bible also has a lot of good things in it, and I believe that this has gone too far. They're actually harming women who are they're of a genetic lineage. Wait, what's this one? Oh, Mosaicism is the presence of two or more populations of cells with different genotypes in an organism, originating from a single fertilized ovum. That's interesting too. I like this other part though. This is kind of about. I like this. A Croatian woman with the male genotype 46XY gave birth to a daughter with the same 46XY. Both mother and daughter received their Y chromosome from their respective fathers. The Y chromosome in the mother had a pathological variation. But in the case of the daughter, the Y chromosome was without any genetic defect. Regardless, both mother and daughter developed as females rather than males, as both had the condition of X-linked gender reversal. So I don't know why they would try to tamper with this, because this is how you're born. But there's got to be a reason, and the reason has to do with money. I mean, there's nothing else that would even make sense. I mean, you could call it Satanism, but I think it has to do with money. There's something we don't know about what this means. However, the mother had normal puberty, menarche, I don't know what this is, menarche, 2 spontaneous pregnancies, and menopause. 2 spontaneous pregnancies. Does that mean she got pregnant without the assistance of a sperm? And then it says the daughter was born infertile without a known cause. The mother's initial cell line during the blastulation stage diverged into 4 distinct cell lines. In the case of the daughter, the cell line... So if you have 4 cell lines, and science likes to study cell lines, this could represent trillions of dollars to science, which could pay for their houses and cars and projects and everything else. In the case of the daughter, the cell line separated into 3 different cell lines, indicating occurrence of a non-disjunction genetic mosaicism in both the mother and the daughter. The conception of the mother occurred by 1 sperm fertilizing the eggs. Okay, I'm not that interested in that one. Auto-fertilization, in specific individuals, a variation of the DICER1 gene can cause the formation of Sertoli-Leydig tumors from the ovarian cells, also known as, I don't know how to say it. Sertoli and Leydig cells are both present in the male testes and are necessary for the formation of the sperm cell. Close analysis of these tumors has shown the potential of these tumors to create sperm cells in a 46XX female. So, in this instance, a 46XY female with Sertoli Leydig tumor could undergo auto-fertilization event, releasing the sperm to fertilize the eggs, causing a virgin birth with a healthy male child. I mean, that... Have you ever even known this?